students. I wanna make we do this. Oh yes, we create this space just for you. Make we talk about you. Make we talk about school, government, and politics, sports, academics, anything that concern you. I don't know when love pass through. It's all about the gospel. So tell me back one from campus. Youths are going on from campus. Come on, tell me back one. Campus connection, take a data one. Hey, I walk one from campus. And we are carry lot from campus. Come on, tell me back one. I walk one. Hey, walk one. Everybody one.
All right, all right, all right. Hello, 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 hello to everyone. It's your favorite Tuesday evening duo on your radio right now on Campus Connection. We're talking about myself, Jonathan Fletcher, and my co-host.
Anesta Samuels, welcome, welcome, welcome to the show, everyone. We have an exciting episode lined up for you. We're talking about school nutrition. Does
Mm-hmm.
nutrition affect learning in our schools? And we have an exciting discussion coming up. We also have a vox pop. We heard from some of our students on the topic. We have education news and bulletin coming up and just so much that we have in store for you. Jonathan, hi.
Absolutely. How you doing? How you doing? How was your weekend?
I'm good. Fresh cut. Why are
You
you
know, a little something,
so
something, a
straight
little,
right now?
And for those who want to see the fresh cut, you can jump on to our live stream at Love 101 FM Jamaica on Facebook or on YouTube. We want to see you in the comments, interact with us. We want to hear from you. Big topic we're talking about this evening, and
Yes.
so very important. School nutrition. Does nutrition affect the way in which our students learn? We are going to find out this evening. But I want to ask him a question, honest, and I want to ask you as well. When you were
Okay.
in school, what was your go-to lunch? Did you have a particular lunch that let's say high school? Did you
Okay.
have a particular meal that you say, this is what I'm going to purchase?
So I loved beef patties, right? So that was my
Mm.
go-to meal. Beef patties and orange juice or
Mm.
some other type of juice, but I loved beef patties. Yeah. What about you?
Not bad, not bad. I did love a meatloaf. I'm not going to tell you any lie.
Ah,
I did love it. I didn't. Boy, and the truth is, since leaving high school, I never had a meatloaf after high school
because you
at all.
probably kill it when you're
Yeah,
in high
after a
school.
while, I was just like, yeah, I don't want that anymore. But let us know what was your favorite lunch during school. That's primary, prep, high school, university. Drop it in the comments. Send us a WhatsApp message 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. We want to hear from you. And we see some people rolling in already. Big up Nicholas Dawson, Veronica Ferran. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for making a campus connection this evening.
Yes, yes, yes. So, Jonathan, we have at first we have education news and bulletin. Now, I remember last week reading this, and so I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's your time now.
We do a little sub. All right, no problem, no
Yeah,
problem.
your time. So yeah, go take it away. Take it away.
All right. Education news and bulletin for Tuesday, September 12th here inside Campus Connection. Taxi operators in Westmoreland withdrew their services for a second day in protest over poor road conditions, causing commuters, including students, to be left stranded. All entry and exit points leading into Grange Hill, Little London, and Lucy in Hanover were blocked by the operators, causing Grange Hill High School to dismiss classes early in order to ensure the safety of the students. According to Trevine Donaldson Lawrence, principal of Grange Hill High School, only 200 of the expected 1,000 student cohort arrived for classes today. Wow. Rome Technical High School was also affected by the protest and had to stop sessions and send students home early for a second day. In light of rapid teacher migration, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Leighton Johnson, is recommending that teacher training programs are created both to export teachers' skills and to make education and attract an attractive employment option locally. The president added that Jamaica's teaching cohort must be strengthened because teachers who migrate may end up becoming recruiters who pull more of their fellow teachers out of Jamaica. Mr. Johnson also added that this program could recruit student teachers from overseas for training with Jamaica's education sector. Principal Dr. O'Neill Ankle is adamant that students who show up at Jonathan Grant High School tomorrow carrying backpacks with the word "Dunce" printed on them will be barred from classes. Mr. Uncle disclosed that the prohibition has already been communicated to students and parents. The Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools noted that there was no agreement made among its members for the treatment of the controversial backpacks. And now for the bulletin of the education news and bulletin. The Michael University College, in partnership with the Ministry of Education and Youth, present sixth form pathway program that will begin September 2023. The classes will be free and is open to grades 12 and 13. The categories are Pathway 1, Traditional CXC and CAPE and Associate Degrees. Pathway 2, Technical NCTVET, Digital Animation, Customer Engagement. And Pathway 3, General City and Guilds, Skills Certification, ICT. To register, contact scs at themico.edu.jm or call 876-968-4336 or 764-2808 or 558-8447 or 851-1180. Passion and Purity presents 2023 Co-ed High School Conference. This conference is a part of its 15th anniversary celebration. And of course, it will take place at the Monroe College in St. Elizabeth on October 7, 2023, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., featuring Christian Teachers Forum, Fathers Forum, dynamic speakers, dance, drama, fashion show, and grand gospel concert. They also meet Friday at the Olson Hall, Arden High School for Region 5 Convention Youth Night. It will take the form of a worship encounter with Cross Links production titled Audience of One. Please encourage your youth to come out, bring a friend. The cost is free and the dress code is white. So that's September 15 at Olson Hall, Arden High School for Audience of One. That's all the news we have for you today inside Education News and Bulletin.
Impressed. I'm quite impressed.
Really?
Good job, Jonathan. So we have someone who will be taking over from you and I in reading the education news and bulletin. And so we want to introduce him at this time, Mr. Nicholas Williamson. And let me just read out him resume because listen, Anna bat, first year law student at the University of the West Indies, youth parliamentarian for Southwest St. Andrew and Kingston Parish representative. He's also the president of the Leo Club of Kingston. He's the Leo District chairperson for the Global Service and Causes Committee. He's the chairman of the Jamaica Youth Rehabilitation Organization and an executive youth advisor. What a piece of resume you have just to read. No, sir. Hello, Nicholas. Welcome to the show.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here. I'm actually elated to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So you'll be reading the news for us, yes?
Yes, yes, I'll be reading the news for you. I think
Awesome.
I just heard the gentleman before really did a great job. So it kind of have me shaking in my shoes here.
Ah, No, man, with this long list of accolades, I'm sure you'll do well. I'm sure you'll do well. But just before you hop off, I would love if you could give us your take on this topic. Our topic for this week is there a relationship between school nutrition in school and how students perform? What do you think? What's your take on that?
Nutrition is one of the things that I believe it is of utmost importance. It is so much imperative to a child's learning. And believe me, nobody can. I can speak for myself first of all. I can't learn on a hungry belly, and
Yeah.
I can speak to them for the majority just the very same. Because if we're hungry, I tell you, hell and purple, hold up, put a hose right there. So, but for the most part, I think when we
Mhm.
speak nutrition, it doesn't only just speak, oh, oh, we're healthy and whatever, but it also speaks to us being very keen of what we really eat and how we eat and what we take in, as a matter of fact. So, looking at all
Mhm.
of those things and how much is important to just the whole holistic development of a young person or students or anybody overall, it is very much so imperative that we have that of a nutritious diet. And aside from that, we take in the things that we really need to be able to fuel that energy that we need for the day. So of course it's very much important, and I for one can't do without the food. And even though sometimes it
Wow.
might bring about that bit of niggeritis, but we can still say, we still need the food
I
like
did.
that. So that's my
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. We look forward to hearing you reading the news on Education News and Bulletin. And welcome to the Campus Connection family.
thank
All
you,
right.
thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you, Nicholas. So look out for Nicholas next week. Well, look out and listen out for him next week. Inside Education News and Bulletin. We have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with a very, very informative and interesting show. So you want to stick and stay after these messages.
The world is full of job opportunities locally and overseas. Let us bring them to you. Register now at Distinction College located at 26 Hagley Park Road, Kingston, 6 Nugent Street, Spanish Town, and Ocho Rios. In 2 to 3 months, earn local and international certificates in housekeeping, food and beverage, food preparation, receptionist, and customer service. Qualified to work in hotels, cruise ships, restaurants, and businesses worldwide. No subjects required, no age limits, no entrance test. Day, evening, and Saturday classes begin very soon at low school fees, easy and flexible payment plans. Call us 356-4167.
What are the benefits of simplified CDD for consumers? Simplified CDD, or simplified customer due diligence, means that it is easier and faster and more convenient for customers that are assessed as low risk for money laundering to open their accounts. This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Hey, my peeps, get this on the regular. Your HIV status if you consider. The least of a test once a year. Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Cause it might not show up on your timeline and you learn too late, so you're out of time. A progressive future, mandatory. Real long life, our story. You hear?
Remember, update your status in a real life. Do a HIV test today.
Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Real long life, our story. Real long life was a youth coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Ooh la la! I see what I want at Fosrich Store-wide September sale. Come get your wires, breakers, LED downlights, solar lamps, LED bulbs, standing fans, and so much more. Shop Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Get your solar water heater. Deposit $20,000. 6 months to pay. Come shop. Come save at Fosrich September sale. See you there at Fosrich. Open Sundays.
E&S Events and Vacations invite you to Couples Retreat Rekindle Marriage Still a Key at Couples Swept Away, November 17 to 20, 2023 for 2 nights. The rate is 125,000 Jamaican dollars. For 3 nights, the rate is 187,500 Jamaican dollars. Sponsored by Crosslinks Productions, Love 101 FM, CGTV, and Couples Resorts Jamaica.
Cubby's Baby Wipes is ideal for your baby's delicate skin, infused with vitamin E and aloe vera, and available for home or on the go. The time by Cubby's Baby Wipes is
46.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price.
Right, welcome back. Welcome back to Campus Connection here on Love 101, the family station. So, school just start back. However, we have some bright sparks even when it's summer, right? We're talking about none other than our honor roll guest this evening, Ayana, recent graduate from the Herbert Morrison Technical High School and currently enrolled at the Montego Bay Community College. Now, listen to this now. She was a part of the Consumer Science and Technology course at Herbert Morrison. She received awards such as Outstanding Academic Performance in 14 14 subjects,
My.
credit principles list, participation in ICF Bible quiz competition, placed second, outstanding performance in dance category for or whole competition for 2 years. And there is a lot more. It's a whole heap more, and we can't really read it out because the show is short.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but Ayana, welcome to Campus Connection. How are you?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great, and how are you?
Wow. We're good.
We're fine. We're fine. Good to see you. Good to see you. But let's jump
Thank
straight
you.
into it because I'm very curious to find out how did you manage to do all these things while studying? What's the secret?
Well, I don't think I really have a secret, but it all deals with time management. You have to know how to manage your time because for me, I live far, and to get up every morning early to go to school, and then when I reach home, it's like late. And then when I had exam, I'd like to get little sleep, and then I would have to get up back like after 2, after 3, and study. And most time, I would even fall asleep while studying. But at school also, I would focus. I'm focused when I'm at school, so that helps me. So even when I have exam, once I remember what I've learned in class, like it sticks with me. It doesn't come out that easily. So once I see or hear something in class, I'll remember it. Especially if like it's a teacher which I love. Once I remember their voice saying something in my head on that exam
Mhm.
paper, I'll remember it.
Wow. I see here on your very, very long list of accomplishments, you were the president of the Social Graces Club. Now, being from an all girls school myself,
Yes.
Melgrove High School, woot woot, I am very familiar with this club, but
How
there
about
might be some people like Jonathan who know nothing about Social
wow?
Graces Club. So, can you just tell us what this club is about for those who don't know?
Okay, so social graces, from here, social and graces. Like social means with a group of people, a bunch of people in one place, and graces have to deal like your etiquette and all that. So social graces, it's like different skills which teach you how to behave in a particular group, in a like social group or anywhere that people is. So it deals with like your manners, the manners you have, how you talk to people, how you deal with people, also how you carry yourself. Like you're not going to look shabby when you're going somewhere. You should look well put together, especially if you're like in a public space. And like social grace
Mm-hmm.
is not really like only when you're in a social group you should use them, but also use them when you're by yourself, because using them by yourself, it teaches you so that you can know when you go out. So like how you talk to, you should know how to talk to people. Like if you're in a group space or like a particular space, you're not going to be shouting and all loud. You should like remain a normal voice when you're talking to someone, especially also if you're in like a restaurant. You have to know how to sit properly. And also when you're eating, don't be talking while you have food in your mouth. Food, and especially if you're like there and you get a call, excuse yourself. Don't answer the phone while you're at the table. Excuse yourself. So social graces, it teaches you how to behave in a social manner. How you sit, how you talk, how you deal with people, how you carry yourself. It just teaches you everything. We like to call it a home economics club. I don't know why, but it's more of a home economics club to me.
Wow,
Wow.
wow. A lot there to really unpack. But speaking of home economics, talk to us about your background, your family life, how that would have helped you during studies. What was growing up at home like for you?
Well, I live with my mom, my dad, and my two siblings. My mom is a teacher, so she would like
Mm.
whenever I like have homework, even though she will not be able to help me all of it, but like I'll go to her and tell her that mommy, I don't understand this. You can help me. When she can't help me, she'd say, Ayana, you got this, and she'd tell me like focus, look over, go search it up, ask somebody for help. Just try to get help anywhere. My mom is very motivating. She'd always look out for me and she always pray. Even before every exam, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what, she has to pray with me. So that kind of motivates me to do well because she puts out her best. So I want to make her proud and like she's not just wasting her money to sending me to school and I'm not doing anything. But like them me being motivational has really helped me to do well in school.
Wow, awesome. So I've heard you mention time management, and now you also mentioned the role of your parents motivating you. Are there any other factors that you would say have contributed to your success?
Yes, also my teachers. My teachers were great help. They were actually the best teachers I've had. My high school teacher, especially my clothing teacher and home management teacher, Miss Blair. Miss Blair would always sit with us and she'd explain it. No matter how much she cuss us and behave, she would always explain things to us. I don't think nobody should fail because she's always pushing us. She always wants the best for us. Not
Mm.
only her, but all of our teachers from grade 10 to grade 11 coming up, they all want the best for us. They would push out even when they cuss us, they push out, they give us extra things to help us focus. We'd have extra classes. They even before CXE, when we were on study break, they would have us come in and they'd sit with us and go through different stuff with us just for us to get it.
Awesome, awesome. Ayana, thank you so much for coming on this evening and sharing with us here inside Campus Connection. Well, you actually shouted out a few persons, but do you have anybody else that you'd want to give a quick shout out to before we wrap?
Well, my friends at school, which used to go to her memories with me, and those that now come see with me, they were great help
Mm-hmm.
in me being here, and I just want to thank them. And I know they're gonna always be there for me because we still talk and all. So I just wish them all the best, and I know that they're gonna do well also.
Great,
All
great,
right.
great. Thank you so much, Ayana, for passing through. Honor roll student, Ayana, the girl with 14 subjects, you know. Boy, she's doing excellent things, and we're excited for what you will be doing in the future. All the best.
Thank you.
All right, all right. Whoa, I tell you, no, man, these students always showing me up enough.
Bright
Brother
sparks.
bird, brother bird. Bright body. Oh boy. Let's continue in the show, shall we?
Shall we?
We shall. We shall.
Yes.
What's coming up now?
So we have I Chose Christ, You Should Too. And I believe this is Nicholas. We spoke with him earlier about
Mm-hmm.
reading the news. And now we have a feature presented by Nicholas Williamson. I Chose Christ, You Should Too.
with a family that would have been in positions in churches and would have hold offices in churches, and aside from that, who understood who Christ was and understood the love of Christ in that particular way. I still kind of felt that void in myself in that particular way. And I remember at a particular time that there was things that were happening, and how my life was and how my family life was. It was upside down at one point in time. And I would have come to the realization that Christ was the only means and only way. And I had a lot of avenues, and I was born and raised in the Garston community and continue to be raised in the Garston community, which would have opened me to options, to pursue either violence or even more just an illegitimate means and route to the certain things. And I remember God would have handpicked me in a particular way and sat me down and let me know that, hey, what are you going to do? If I come today, what will happen to you? And that would have led me to ultimately make the decision that I don't want to go hell. I do not want to go hell. And I'm sure nobody wants to go to hell. That would have led me to the decision that I would have made. And on top of that, I would have been led to even more experience and understand what it really means to serve God. It doesn't mean that you really don't want God, It really means that you want to give of yourself unconditionally, wholeheartedly love Christ. And believe me, I would have experienced that unconditional love and experienced his favor and experienced everything that I can say that this is the best decision I would have made. No, believe me, if you make the decision today, you won't ever regret it, because your life will be in the palm of his hands. Man, believe me. And trust me, this decision will enable you to not only just look at yourself and trust yourself, but to trust in a God that will come true. So I chose Christ. You should too. I chose Christ, so you should too.
All right.
Me no want go hell. Sentiments shared by Nicholas in our I Chose Christ feature. Powerful stuff.
Yes,
Powerful
yes,
stuff. And we want to hear
absolutely.
from you. We want to hear your testimony. So send us your 2 to 3 minute audio of God's transformation in your life. Remember to end by saying, I chose Christ. You should too. You can send your submission to love101campusconnection@gmail.com. And of course, we would be super delighted to help you to share your testimony.
Right. So we certainly appreciate that feature, and we are going now into our feature on school nutrition. Is there a connection between nutrition and learning? And we are going for a quick break, but when we come back, we have Miss Yvette Gilzine and we also have Miss Stacy Aiken to discuss on this topic. Stay with us.
In 2022, 51 projects were completed under the Urban Renewal Program. This includes zinc fence removal, installation of solar lights and street signs, and the upgrade of parks and green spaces. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is reviving the urban landscape, renewing communities for a better tomorrow.
Hey, my peeps, get this on the regular. Your HIV status if you consider. The least you ever test once a year. Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Cause it might not show up on your timeline and you learn too late, so you're out of time. A progressive future, mandatory. Real long life, our story. You hear?
Remember, update your status in a real life. Do a HIV test today.
Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Real long life, our story. Real long life, we say you. Coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Get your Western Union back to school bonus from now until September 22. 50 winners of $10,000 every week. Millions in scholarships of up to $100,000 each. And double your Western Union money transfer in your GK1 wallet to get you ready for the new school year. You could be one of over 300 winners. Just download the GK1 app, receive a Western Union transfer in your GK1 wallet, and you're automatically entered to your back to school bonus. Visit gkmsonline.com for all the rules. Authorized under Section 58 of the
Clearing personal non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It's 6:02 p.m.
Okay, where are the campus eyes?
Welcome back. It is Campus Connection, and you are right here tuned in to Love 101 FM. And we are so excited about our discussion that's coming up. We're talking about nutrition and education. What's the relationship? What's the connection there? And for those who might, want a formal definition of nutrition and food and those kinds of things, right? Because we're very proper over here, So nutrition, the study of nutrients and their relationship with food and the body, right? And we're also looking at food is any edible substance, whether liquid or solid, cooked or uncooked, which when ingested by the body provides it with the necessary nutrients to function effectively. And nutrition is something that we've long discussed in our nation as to its relationship between how students learn, how they function at school. And the Jamaica Home Economics Association is on a mission to improve the quality of life of individuals, families, students within our nation. And so we have two guests with us this afternoon. The first is Miss Yvette Gilzine. She's the first vice president of the Jamaica Home Economics Association. And we also have Miss Stacy Aiken, health counselor and nutritionist. And we're just so excited that they could have made the time to join us. Good evening, ladies.
Hi.
Good evening. Good evening.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. Yeah, man. Thanks for making the Campus Connection this evening. We're so very grateful for your presence this evening. All right. So let's get into it. And I want, before we even talk to our guests, we want to hear from our students, right? Because that is going to help us in our conversation. So the question, is breakfast the most important meal of the day? Right? We want to know. So we can go ahead with our Vox Pop right now. All right, we're waiting on the Vox Pop to, okay.
The first question is, can students learn effectively while hungry? I would say no, because if they don't eat, they won't focus.
Breakfast is really the most important meal of the day, because without breakfast, I don't think students or people that go into work may focus on their jobs or at school.
They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. However, I go every day without eating breakfast and I am completely fine. So I don't know.
So the last question is breakfast really the most important meal of the day? I will definitely say yes. Because if you don't have breakfast, you won't be able to focus. You just feel sleepy. Everything just come down on you.
If breakfast is the most important meal of the day,
Yes, it is very important. It gives you the energy that you need for the day. However, some people don't have the time in the morning to have breakfast. So, yeah.
Yes, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. This is because breakfast is the meal that you eat to start off your day so that you can function properly throughout the day.
Breakfast the most important meal of the day? I think breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Most of the times, I don't really wake up eating breakfast, and I can tell you I'm mostly tired throughout the day. I don't really eat until I go home for dinner or something, and I make something. But my main point is you wake up, you get in nutrients in your body that will fuel you for the rest of the day, and I think that's more important.
And no, breakfast is not the most important meal of the day for me. It will be lunch.
All right, I
Interesting.
think that's it. Very interesting um, comments there from our students. And I just want to point our attention to this comment from Wayne Evans on Facebook. He's saying, great topic. Many students could have been seriously affected by that, why they may be performing poorly. So, can we start there? Because I think that's a powerful way to start. Um, yeah, let's start there. Yvette, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts based on Wayne's comment and what we listened to in the Vox Pop?
Okay. There is no study that shows that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. However, is it important? Is it of paramount importance, should I say? Yes, because of the value that it gives. Because when you eat, your food is transformed into glucose, which energizes the brain, and it also helps you to be energetic to help you to do whatever task that you have ahead of you. Also, Mr. Evans said that it may affect academic performance. Now, in 2015, I did a research on that. Um, the relationship between academic performance and hunger, should I say. And it was found that it does affect academic performance because students who are hungry, they can't focus,
Mhm.
they get aggressive at times, and they are just listless and sometimes tired. So it does affect academic performance. Because if you can't focus, how will you learn?
Hmm.
Mm. Mm.
Interesting. So, Miss
Interesting.
Aiken, you're a health counselor, you're a nutritionist. Talk to us a little bit more about just what what the meal should include, because we might say, okay, yes, it's good to eat before you go to school, but eat what exactly? What do you need?
So, I heard a lot of the students talking about they don't have time to eat and, they're rushing off. And I think that's just the case for maybe even adults as well, what everybody is saying is true. Breakfast is important. It sets you up for the rest of the day. Your body doesn't only need glucose, your brain needs glucose to function for sure. It's one of the major fuels. But we do have other macronutrients, protein, fat, micronutrients, all of these minerals and vitamins support our bodily functions. And so when you're talking about what should we eat for breakfast, we should try to get a spectrum. So we know about the 6 food groups or Caribbean food groups, protein, that can be from animal sources. So whether you have an egg in the morning, it's really good for you. You have some complex carbohydrate, whether you're rushing out, you have oats, some cereal. A lot of people doing shakes now just to get something in quickly. It's better than nothing, right? So you really want to have a little bit of everything as much as you can. So some fruit, if you can, some carbohydrate, whether it's a piece of bread, toast, It can be basic. I mean, it don't have to be the best or perfect, but something is better than nothing. So as I mentioned, a piece of fruit, some source of protein in the morning, whether it's egg, it could be a cheese sandwich that you grab in the morning, with some tomato in it would be great, and some lettuce if you have it. So it would be good to start the day off with some protein, some carbs, and something that will give you some vitamins for sure. So whether that's a fruit or some vegetable, a callaloo omelet with some wheat toast, or some, boiled banana if you can have it. So it's best to have a variety as much as you can.
A
But
follow-up
definitely,
question to you. Yeah, go ahead.
no, I'm saying, but definitely the brain does need your glucose, but your body also needs other things to function.
Okay.
Remember,
Well, a
you're
follow-up
breaking
question
a
because
fast.
you
You're breaking a fast, so your body has done without food. So your organs haven't had food for depending on how long you've slept. So it's called breakfast, because even if it's at lunch, you're having your first meal. You're breaking your fast at that time. So your body hasn't had anything, right? So your body is really depleted of those things that it needs. The organs, all the organs are functioning. So you have to just give it something, give it a little bit of everything as much as you can.
Okay. So you mentioned the whole essence of breaking the fast, right? And I know this is going to be very controversial because of the country we live in, but this matter of tea drinking, right? How important is it to have a cup of tea, whether it's in the morning, in the afternoon, whenever it is that you're breaking this fast? Is it important? Can we live without drinking a cup of tea or 2 cups of tea every day?
Not if you're Jamaican. Let me answer that for
Not
you.
clearly.
It
I'm
is
just joking. I'm
cultural,
just
it's
joking. Go
a
ahead.
nice ritual that we have. It's a cultural ritual, which, I mean, it's something, it's not essential. It doesn't have anything, essential
Wait, wait, wait,
nutrients
wait, wait,
necessarily.
wait.
The
Wait,
nutritionist said.
wait. Wait. This just in, ladies and gentlemen.
I need to call my grandma. Where's my
It is
grandma? I need to
not
call her.
essential to drink a cup of tea in the morning. I didn't say it. I never got nutrition school. I didn't say it. Our nutritionist said it
But listen,
herself. It
if
is
it
not
makes you
essential.
feel good, and as I say, if some
Mm-hmm.
people want to take off that gas, so that it's soothing to drink something warm in the morning, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we
Mm-hmm.
have our nice peppermint tea or nice herbal
Mm-hmm.
ginger tea, some nice herbal teas in the morning that are actually stimulating. In other areas, it stimulates your appetite. For instance, peppermint and ginger does that. So I would say go for it. I would just be careful with the amount of sugar that you're putting in your tea, because what you do want is not, you want energy, right? But you want sustained energy. And so when you
Mm.
have very sweet Milo in the morning, it might give you a quick boost, but then that comes out of your bloodstream very quickly. So what you want is actual food, with some fiber in it, something that will last a little longer. You see, when you pair carbohydrates that are complex, meaning that they have some more fiber in it, the body releases that glucose that you need, a little bit longer. And so you're more sustained. That's why, they say you like your oatmeal porridge or your peanut porridge. You find the cornmeal porridge, those things last a little bit longer. You don't get as hungry as fast, so it's more sustaining. So it's important to have those complex things, those things that have fiber wrapped in it. So even if you have your tea, have something else with it. Tea is not breakfast. It's not balanced. It doesn't meet the criteria of having, even 4 of those other food groups in it, right? So you really want to have, even if you start with tea, I would say have something else. That's just a appetite opener.
All right. All right. Boy, we'll have to go to a quick break. This conversation is getting more and more interesting by the minute. So you want to stay with us after these messages.
What are your financial goals? Consider who you are and where you want to be. Do you want to open your own business? Do you want to own a home? Invest in properties? Go back to school? Send your children to school? Then you have to save. But first, you have to have a budget. This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Do you have a heart condition? Your care should be in the hands of our experienced cardiovascular team at Partners Interventional Center of Jamaica. We're one of the leading heart centers for angiogram, stenting, pacemakers, EP studies, and ablation therapy. PICJ has the expertise and latest technology to treat all your heart needs. Call 876-995-7425 or email info@pic-jm.com for appointments. PICJ, your partners for life.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are stuck up in a price.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. We are here with two very interesting panelists. We have Mrs. Stacy Aiken-Hemming. She's a nutritionist and health counselor. And we have Miss Yvette Gilzine. She is the first vice president of the Jamaica Home Economics Association. Now, our second question to the students was this: can students learn effectively while hungry? I'm going to let our panelists hear their response, and then I'm going to ask Miss Gilzine to go ahead and give us her comments.
Can students learn while they're hungry?
All right, so it's very difficult to focus when you're hungry for anyone doing any task. However, if you put your mind to it, then you can learn when hungry, because that's a personal experience of mine where I struggled financially, so I never had it to eat, and I did learn and I was successful. So it is possible.
Students cannot learn effectively while hungry, as you need the energy to focus and concentrate, as well as for memory. And if you are hungry, then you have no energy, basically.
And hungry.
My answer is no. I don't think that they can learn effectively if they're hungry, because when you're hungry, that's another distraction. And when you're trying to learn, you don't need any outside distractions. So hunger will just, all you'll be thinking about is where's the food, where, that type of stuff. So no, I don't think so.
Students can learn while they're hungry. However, I don't believe it would be effective, as their hunger will shift their focus.
Students cannot learn effectively while hungry because if they don't eat, their brain is not going to function properly.
I don't think students can learn
All
while
right.
hungry, because hunger may cause belly ache or headache, which may cause them to lose focus in class.
All right, Miss Gilzine, you can go ahead. Give us your take on this.
Okay, as was said by most of the students, yes, learning can take place, but how effective can it be while hungry? Because there are going to be distractions. Because hunger brings with it pain sometimes, a feeling of listlessness, weakness, and all of those contribute to you being distracted. So how effective can learning be at that time? I don't think it can be very effective. Yes, you can learn something, yeah, because sometimes you have to go into a learning session while hungry. But will it be effective? I don't think so. Not very effective.
And Mrs. Aiken-Hemming, there's a saying out there. There's a saying out there: a hungry man is an angry man. What are the implications for a student who's trying to learn while hungry? Does it affect them mentally, emotionally?
yeah, it's going to be difficult. It affects them behaviorally, as the students that you surveyed are very right on the money. It is possible, but it's going to be more difficult because there is discomfort associated. I mean, your body can use another form of fuel, which is ketones. That's when the body has burned fat now. But then that process of ketosis, if you get there, if you're so hungry to get there, it is a very uncomfortable feeling, right? If people get used to it, there's a lot of people doing things like intermittent fasting now, where they skip a meal. Some people might as a weight loss strategy, right? But it's not a comfortable feeling. So, as rightly said, it is distracting. It will also cause irritability. There's a lot of behavioral and social issues that are related to students that are hungry. So not only is it distracting for the learner, but it's distracting for other learners and possibly the whole classroom environment. I mean, there are studies that show, poor behavior from students who are even hunger in the short term, hunger in the long term, meaning chronic hunger, students who have gone hungry for a long period of time. There are definite social implications for that, even into adulthood. So hunger is on a spectrum. You can have the feeling of hunger when you just skip a meal, but then you can have chronic hunger where, because of your position in life, you're low income, you really are struggling socially, economically, and you go hungry day after day after day. It's not only affecting your mental development, but it's also affecting your social skills. And
Mm.
so there is anger and behavioral issues, even violence that is associated with children. There's some deviance that can be associated. And sometimes it's not just that they're putting them bad, but it's just simply that they're hungry. They need to be fed properly. And I mean, this is why it's the food policy that they're trying to introduce in schools is so important, because we really need to have a supportive environment for our children. So even kids who don't have it at home, it would be great if the schools could provide programs. There are programs that exist now, not in all schools and not all children are a part of it, like the PATH program and other programs, where meals are a part of the learning environment, and even the quality of the meals. So you want to be sure that even if the kid comes to school, that they have something nutritious available for them, even right before class, even if they didn't have it at home. You want to make sure that the
Yes.
school environment is situated in a way that is going to support them
Yes.
nutritionally, so that learning can be more effective and so that their outcomes can be better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Miss Gizine, as a senior teacher, you're within the school on a daily basis. Can you describe for us what would be considered, in your professional estimation, a balanced diet? So, what would you encourage students to be eating at school during lunchtime?
Okay, as was said earlier, a lot of the schools try to provide a nutritious meal for the students.
Mm-hmm.
So one that consists of, say, four or more of the Caribbean food groups in it. All right. But if they don't want to partake of what is provided at the school, they can, your co-host said her go-to meal was a patty. They can have
Mm-hmm.
a patty and they can have a juice, not a drink with that has in a lot of sugar, but they can buy a juice that
Mm-hmm.
provides them with some vitamins and minerals. So that would help to balance out the meal, right? So that would help to make it more nutritious as they need to have for the day.
Ideally, though, just to follow up on that question, if you could describe the ideal lunch, right? So let's say there was enough government funding and all of that for schools. What would that look like for you, for a student?
All right. Of course, they have to have staples. So we have,
Mm-hmm.
whether we have ground provision or we have rice or we have pasta. And then
Mm-hmm.
we can choose to have something from either food from animal group or um, legumes and nuts, which will provide adequate protein.
Legumes
All
and
right.
Yes.
So food from animals, whether it be chicken or beef or fish, All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we do go to the peas and beans and the legumes and we add that. Then we
Mm-hmm.
pull from the vitamins and the minerals in the fruits and the vegetables. Of course, we use a lot of fat in the processes because we add butter. We may add mayonnaise if we're making pasta. All right. So we can combine all of those to ensure that our students are getting balanced meals.
Awesome.
I see.
And so our final question to our students was, can families be properly nourished on a low budget? Because we've been talking so far about just what are the ideals, but we don't live in
Mm-hmm.
an ideal world. Sometimes it gets rough. It gets rough providing for your family. So we asked our students, can families be properly nourished on a low budget? And this is what they said.
Can families be nourished on a low budget?
Well, I don't think so, unless maybe they have a farm or a small garden where they can get certain nourishments, certain fruits.
Families can properly be nourished on a low budget in a country with a good economy, not in Jamaica.
So the second question is, can families be properly nourished on a low budget? I will definitely say no, because things are very expensive nowadays. So they will have to buy what they can afford.
Can families be nourished on a low budget?
Initially, the first thing that came to mind is no, but I believe anything is possible, but it would be extremely difficult.
No, I don't think families can be properly nourished on a low budget, because suppose there's something they need to buy or purchase and it's already over the budget.
Families can be properly nourished on a low budget. They just have to buy the right foods and stay on the budget.
I believe families can be properly nourished on a low budget. It's just that the food isn't going to be tasteful as we would like, but it is possible.
All right. So, Mrs. Aiken Hemming, let me start with you. What are your thoughts on what our students had to say?
Mhm. So a lot of them, I think it was mixed, right? But I think most people think that they can't be nourished on a low budget. There's some studies that point to that, but I believe that we ignore a lot of foods in Jamaica. So I think there are a lot of foods that are available out there. Maybe it's a matter of taste that people will just ignore them. So, for instance, looking at our peas and beans, compared with animal protein, meats, and so on, peas and legumes are so much cheaper, right? And if you pair it with a grain like rice or brown rice, it's very complementary. So you get your full protein there, because both of them have different spectrums of amino acids. Put them together, rice and beans is a staple in a lot of Latin American countries, and it gives a complete protein. It's much cheaper than meat. Callaloo, very underrated. Green, I would eat callaloo every single day. It has a lot of minerals, a lot of vitamins, vitamin A's to K's. So the darker the greener, the leafier, wonderful. Watercress, cresses, maybe the country people know it. Most people ignore it. It's one of the most nutritious greens, but we ignore these things. Collard greens, they call it bush cabbage in, Mandeville. People don't even eat it. They just give it to pig. Very nutritious. So I think that moringa leaves, highly nutritious. It has 10 times the vitamin C than oranges and so on. So I think it's a matter of understanding what's available to us, being creative in understanding how to incorporate these things into our diet, because we can boost our diet. So something like moringa tree, you use it to make fence, and before you know it, the fence turned to tree, right? You pick those leaves, you dry it, and you can add it to your food, or you can use it as a salad green, and you can boost your nutrition that way. So I think that it might appear that it's out of our reach, because maybe we need more education about things that are nutritious, that are accessible to us, right? And somebody mentioned the taste. We have a spectrum of herbs and spices that we can incorporate to really infuse flavor into our foods. Garlic and ginger, curry powder, Italian seasonings, which, cumin. There's a host of spices. You can have the same ingredients, but you add different sauces and spices to it, and it changes the flavor of it. So you can be having the same foods in a different way every day, and it's like you're having an entire meal from around the world. So, I mean, I believe that there may be some truth to it, but I think we can overcome it with more knowledge and more skill in food
Mm-hmm.
preparation.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a natural poor man's diet that we let the USA pioneer vegan cuisine, but we have our ital cuisine. We've had our ital cuisine for how long now? And that's a very nutritious, potent way of eating.
Mm-hmm.
Using natural coconut milk. Using legumes like peanuts. People don't realize peanuts are a legume. Cooking it together, using your
Mm.
okra. I mean, using your green bananas and your breadfruit. We don't have to buy bread. We're so reliant on flour and white rice. We have a lot of staples that we can cultivate ourselves for people who live in the country. I don't know what we're going to know with all these high-rise buildings in Kingston or whoever is buying them, but we need to grow our own food, so that we can find ways to nourish
Yeah,
ourselves. So I think, it might be a myth, but
it's
I think it's
possible.
that we can overcome that hurdle or that notion by
Mm-hmm.
adding some creativity. And I mean, the truth is that
Okay.
Jamaicans, and even with the school nutrition, um, we don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. There's the
Mm.
last lifestyle survey. It's under 6% of Jamaicans that are eating the required amounts of fruits and vegetables. So, we need to infuse more plant-based foods in our diet. I mean, that is really what's going to protect us against chronic disease and illness in the long run. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the reliance on refined carbohydrates, meats, and meats are expensive. They're an expensive source of
Got you.
protein. Protein is
So,
important, but there are other
so
ways.
So essentially, you're saying it's really more education that's needed. We need to educate our population about how to
I think
introduce
so.
healthier foods into our
Yeah.
diets. And it's not so much the budget being the restriction. Certainly. So
Yeah.
so Miss Gilzine, just for your final words, we've talked so much about nutrition and how it relates to learning. What would be your tip for parents out there who are preparing meals, doing the best they can? What would be your tip for those parents?
All right. If you're on a low budget, try to choose wisely, because I know some of us shy away from buying things that are on specials and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
sometimes go into the supermarket and check out the specials. Check the date on them. If
Mhm.
you're going to be using these things in a short period of time, purchase them. They have the same nutritional value, and they might be cost less costly than the other things.
Mhm.
Buy generic products,
Mhm.
right? Brand name ones are going to be expensive all the time, are going to be more expensive. So buy generic. It's the same thing. Check the nutritional facts. It's the
Mhm.
same thing. And combine these meals, as Mrs. Hemming said, combine your carbohydrates. When you combine them and combine the proteins, some of them that are high biological value, combine them, low biological value, combine two of low biological value, and it increases the value of the protein. So it makes the meal more nutritious. So as Mrs. Hemming says, education is key,
Mhm.
and food choices. The choices that you make will help you in the long run.
Wow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wow. Wonderful, wonderful
Can I just add to
discussion
that?
here. Sure, quickly.
I think we've lost the community aspect of this, because buying in bulk, if everybody put together and you buy, a couple of families buy together, it really decreases the cost of things significantly. So I think
Mhm.
that's another strategy
Powerful
that
point.
we
That's a
we
good
need
tip.
to be more of a community. and sharing, bartering. If you grow banana and I grow potato, let's swap. Let's come
Yes.
together and see how we can feed
Absolutely.
each other.
Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
that.
Wonderful tips. Wonderful tips here inside Campus Connection. Parents, I hope you are listening and taking notes, students, teachers, because this is so very important. Ladies, thank you so much for making the Campus Connection. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and all the best for the future.
Thank you also for having us.
All
All the
right, no problem, no problem.
Yes, it was my pleasure.
Wow,
Thank you.
very interesting. Yeah, man. Very interesting show here inside Campus Connection on the Family Station Love 101.
Mm-hmm.
School nutrition. Wow, we asked the questions and
Interesting.
I believe we got the answers. So it's up to you to do what you need to do, listeners and
Yes.
viewers. All right. So
Yes.
next week we'll be talking about overcoming disabilities. Is our education system properly prepared to deal with students with disabilities? So that's going to be a very interesting show. Want to say thanks, of course, to our producer Jermaine Johnson, Dr. Nadine Blair, programs manager, Timor Butler, technical support, Latifa Reed, news support. Want to thank our guests, Nicholas Williamson, Ayana McGee, Miss Yvette Gilzine, Mrs. Stacy Aiken Hemmings, all our listeners and our viewers. That is it for this week. See you next week as we explore more things Wagwan Pan
Yes,
Campus. I'm
and
Jonathan Fetler.
before we
Mhm.
go, just quickly want to say thank you to all of those who came in the comments section. So many comments, we
Absolutely.
didn't get a chance to come to everyone's comment, but we did take it into account. We appreciate you. Please continue to comment. We love you from all of us here at Campus Connection.
Absolutely.
It's all about the gospel. So tell me what one bang campus.